All right, BarNaturalPrez,
Yo, you
talk to the
guys do
people, man.
pull-ups? They better not look like that. All right, listen, guys. Today I'm gonna be going over the top mistakes I see people make when trying to do pull-ups. Right? Listen, a lot of people think they can do pull-ups, but what they're doing is a half repetition, a sloppy rep, or just setting themselves up for injury, or they're just holding themselves back of being able to produce better pull-ups and more repetitions. So look, the first common mistake I see people make is not having full body tension and not engaging the glutes. Let me show you guys something. And we're gonna use a resistance band for this, guys. So remember, this is the first mistake I see all beginners make. Listen, when you're a beginner and you're trying to do pull-ups, one common method I have people do is resistance band pull-ups, right? So when doing resistance band pull-ups, what do? You put your foot in a band, you put both feet in the band, right? And what is this band doing? This band is now giving me, once it's stretched out from the bottom, as soon as I come up, this band wants to snap back. So it's helping my body get over the bar. What happens when people use resistance bands is they no longer engage any part of their body, right? Because they think, oh, this band's gonna do all the work for me. All I gotta do is pull my arms. So what ends up happening? Their pull-ups end up looking like this. Then look at their legs are here. Why? Why does this happen to people? Why is this band pulling you? Why doesn't it look like this? Why are you letting this happen? Because the first mistake people make is they don't know how to engage their whole glutes and their whole body. I've said this since day one. Every exercise in calisthenics is a full body exercise. The same principle applies to people that you see doing push-ups like this. You see people doing push-ups like this. What is missing? There is no engagement of the posterior chain. They're not engaged in the lower body. So look, if you're learning out pull-ups, the first thing you guys want to do is build up awareness and tension in the body, right? You guys should not be trying band-resisted pull-ups if you guys can't do this yet. If you guys can't jump on the bar and hang in a perfect line like this and not have your body move, you guys are not ready for anything else yet. Why? Because in order to do this, look, if I'm loose right now, my feet are apart, right? That means I already have dispersed energy. There's loose energy in the kinetic chain. If I'm hanging and everything is tight and engaged, my toes are pointed down, my calves are flexed, my glutes are flexed, that means energy is running fluidly and in sync throughout my body, and I'm not even having to do any type of movement to produce energy. It's just learning to be aware and be in control of itself, right? So the first mistake I see people make, whether it be with bands or no bands, or if you think you can do pull-ups already, is doing things like this. Why is your legs coming up here? Because you guys don't have the body awareness. You're not learning how to activate the glutes. Look, every repetition, you guys should get up to the bar. First things first, feet together. Put your feet together first things first. Every repetition is supposed to look like this, right? Up, down. No movement. You have no disengagement of the bodies. Remember, if a loose limb is there, that means there's loose energy being dispersed and you're not going to be able to produce maximal force. So before you get up to the bar, the first mistake I see people make so G, you can see, is they'll just come, they'll put their arms up like this, and then they'll try to jump, and then what happens? They're already swinging, there's no engagement, there's no control. First thing you guys gotta do, always be aware of the exercise you're doing and your setup before you do the exercise. Whether that be pull-ups, dips, push-ups, squats, overhead press, handstands. Setup is key. If you rush the setup, your form and your repetition is gonna be sloppy. So first things first, like I said, feet together, literally. Kick your feet together, right? When I first started training, I swear to you, I used to tie my shoelaces together so I would keep my feet together. I would tie my right shoe to my left shoe so I couldn't undo my feet. It would be forced to keep my legs together. That's a very common habit that people have. Feet together, right? Now, don't just lift your arms. Don't just lift your arms and try to jump, right? No. You guys want to lift your arms. Watch. Lift your arms and then reach to the sky. I'm going to have to show you with the shirt off so you guys can see the full activation and the difference. Ready, guys? So look. This is just me raising my arms. I have no energy dispersed, right? There's no engagement of anything. Now, if I'm tight, feet are squeezed, glutes are squeezed, watch. Everything's together, squeezing my glutes, sucking my stomach in. This is no engagement. Now I'm reaching all the way to the sky. Every muscle, or my body is already tense. Everything is tense. Now nothing's tense, everything's loose. You jump on the bar like this, you're gonna have no energy to control, you're not gonna be able to control yourself. You start the repetition like this, right? Everything's tight. Ready, guys? Look, everything's loose right now. I'm loose. There's no engagement. I jump on the bar, I'm gonna swing. And I have a light swing, guys, so I know how to control it. If you come on the bar and you're a beginner and you do that, you're gonna be all over the place. You're gonna have to reset your hands up. Don't ever, second mistake we're gonna get to is hand positioning. It's gonna lead into this. It's gonna translate from this. So remember, feet together, everything tight. When I say ground your feet to the floor, act like you're trying to dig your toes into the floor. You have no shoes on it, you're trying to get balance. Reach your hands to the sky. You should be right under that pull-up bar. Everything locked out, right? I'm reaching my shoulders to the sky for an item I can't reach, and I'm trying to reach the pull-up bar, but it's impossible. Now from here, everything's tight and engaged. I jump, look, I jump, I'm straight in a line, right? Now my body is already engaged, all the energy is ready to be dispersed and pulled optimally, and now you can do nice, clean repetitions. Now, that was the first mistake. People rushing the setup, not starting with their feet together, and their arms completely locked out and everything engaged already. Always maintain full body tension before you get on that bar. You don't have to be on the bar to maintain tension, right? Second common mistake that I see people do all the time, which I just kind of touched on, is having to reset their hand position up on the bar. That's going to take energy out of your body. It's going to make you weaker and start fatiguing the grip. How do you fix that? Again, all with the setup. Feet together. Place your arms in the position that you want to do your pull-ups with, right? So when I do pull-ups, this is my positioning, right? So if I was to just practice, mimic it, this is my range of motion, this is how I pull. So I put my arms where I'm going to be pulling from on the bar. If I put my arms here and jump like this, what do I have to do? Now I got to move my arms over and reset up. Why do that? You're wasting energy. And that's gonna be very common again if you go up and just lift your arms like this and jump on the bar and have no idea what you're actually doing. Place your arms, lock them out, lock those shoulder joints into elevation, reach for the sky, have everything tight. So when you jump on that bar, you're already ready to work. No energy wasted, you don't have to set up, your whole core is activated, you're ready to produce maximal force. Those are the first two mistakes I see people make. All right, so the third mistake I see people make. All right, so G, you're gonna catch me from the back right here. It's people, remember the hardest part of a pull-up is being able to pull from a dead hang position. So being able to pull from here with correct form, retracting and pulling. The number three mistake I see people make is eliminating the bottom portion of the movement. So they'll come up to the bar and they'll do this. And then they'll come down and they'll wonder, oh, how come I can't do another one? Why? Because you don't know how to pull from here. You only know how to pull from here, right? You're only pulling from this part up, right? So then when they come down to full lockout, which typically they won't even do, right? So if they're doing pull-ups like this, they're typically only doing this range of motion, right? Why? Because they never taught their body how to pull from a full lockout. So in order to correct that, you guys got to work on scapula engagement, which is called an active dead hang. So you guys want to be able to hang on that bar, dead hang position, and then engage the scapula and then pull. So that's the third mistake I see people, third mistake I see people make, right? Eliminating the dead hang portion of the repetition. Why? Because they're weak in it and they never trained it and they think they could just jump on a pull-up bar and jump and do half reps. That's not a pull-up, you're doing a half rep, which you saw in the beginning of the video in the little parody I was doing. So remember, third common mistake, not starting from a full dead hang position. And it all relates back to the setup. Everything locked out, you jump on that bar, look, I'm in a line, right? I'm passive. Even, remember, there's passive hangs and active hangs. A passive hang means there's no engagement of the muscles. Active hang means we're engaging the muscles. We're retracting the shoulder blades back, and now we're activating the muscles before we're even doing a rep, right? So what people do is they'll jump on the bar like you see, and then they're starting repetition here. So they're eliminating this whole first activation part of the movement. From here, once everything's locked in and down, now we start working on repetitions. And that's the proper pull-up. That's a proper form for a pull-up. You guys want to be hanging, retract, and then pull, because that's going to activate all the posterior chain muscles that are supposed to be there when doing your pull-ups, and they're supposed to be used when doing your pull-ups. So those are the first three. The next mistake I see people do when training pull-ups is only training pull-ups. Listen, if you're only training this motion, this pattern of movement, when you're only pulling in the frontal plane and your elbow joint is only used to going like this, you're only training, remember, every muscle is connected by tendon, right? So you have bone, ligaments, tendons. The tendons are, well, I got a bicep tendon tear. What happens when people do too much weight and they can't do a bicep curl? They'll tear the tendon off the bicep muscle, right? Because the tendon is not as strong as the actual muscle. Why does that happen? Because you're not training the position for the tendon to get stronger in. So if you're only doing pull-ups, you're only training basically the outside of the medial portion of the tendon of the arm, right? Number one way to fix that, and listen, mistakes I made myself, and a lot of people make them. Why? Because in tournaments you don't do this, is chin-ups. Train supinated grip pulling exercises, because now you're gonna be training the bicep tendon. It's gonna help you with, remember, a pull is flexion of the elbow joint, right? A dip is extension of the elbow joint. So you wanna make sure, remember, everything in calisthenics is pull-ups and dips. You don't really see people repping out chin-ups in a competition or neutral grip pull-ups in a competition. You may see that in their training, because it's smart to train those patterns of movement. Because again, too much repetition in the same plane of motion is gonna cause damage to the joint, and it's gonna build an imbalance, right? So you're only gonna get strong here, and then your bicep tendon, which should be a stronger pull and a stronger muscle in general, because remember, when you're doing chin-ups, you're using more bicep than as opposed to pull-ups, so you should be stronger in that motion. But if you don't train them often enough, you're gonna become stronger in the pull, because your bicep and the bicep tendon are not getting the strength that they need to pull your body up. And then from there, another thing people don't train is the neutral grip pull-up. The neutral grip pull-up is going to put your elbow and your shoulder in the most comfortable position. Same thing for pretty much all neutral grip movements, whether it's like a dumbbell overhead press, a bench press. People that have shoulder pain or elbow pain, it's hard to externally rotate the shoulder and do a pressing movement. So if you're here and doing shoulder press with dumbbells, you have to externally rotate. If you're here doing dumbbell bench press, you have to externally rotate. If you keep it neutral, your shoulder stays neutral. It's not internally rotated, it's not externally rotated. It's in neutral position where it wants to be. So same thing goes for neutral grip pull-ups. Your shoulder joint stays neutral. And remember now, look guys, let me show you guys something. Come to this bar, G. Watch. Shoulder joint internally rotates and externally rotates, so it can stay neutral, right? Pull-ups. When you grab that bar and you're hanging, the shoulder joint is almost neutral to slightly externally rotated. Because now look, when your arms are down and back, when your arms are fully locked out, and it's through your head and your shoulder joint is in full extension, your shoulder joint is back here, right? Now if I was doing a chin-up, what happens? My elbow rolls forward, now my shoulder joint is in internal rotation. So look, when you start a pull-up, you start an external rotation pretty much. When you start a chin-up, you're starting an internal rotation. But now remember, when you're doing a chin-up, guys, when you pull down and back, your shoulders externally rotate. Look, my shoulders are pulled forward now. I'm pulling them down and back. Now look, my shoulders go more to external rotation. That's how they're supposed to be. When you're doing a chin-up, right, you're not supposed to keep pulling with your shoulders in front of you. That's gonna cause an impingement in the shoulder, the trap. All the pulling motions, at the end result, you want to be retracted in the scapula. But hand positioning prior to the set makes a difference. Remember, if you just get on that bar to hang for a chin-up, if you're just doing chin-up dead hangs, you're naturally going to be internally rotated. If you're hanging dead hang from a pull-up grip, your shoulders are going to be more externally rotated to neutral. But now if you're in neutral grip, you just jump up on these bars, the shoulders are in exact neutral position. There's no external rotation, there's no internal rotation. Your whole body is in just one line. Look, my head is right at my elbow crest, my whole body is in one line. So 3 different planes, 3 different motions, pattern of movement that your bicep and your wrist and your hands could grab that bar, right? So if you only train pull-ups, you're gonna neglect the bicep tendon. If you don't train neutral grip pulls, you're gonna neglect the brachialis and the brachioradialis, which are two muscles of the elbow and forearm that help with flexion and extension. So building up those muscles doing neutral grip pulls is gonna have a dramatic benefit to increasing your pull-up strength in general. But only focusing on pull-ups is gonna set you up for elbow injury, shoulder injury. Listen, it happened to myself, and it's very common among calisthenic athletes. You're gonna hear them have, oh, I got tennis elbow or golfer's elbow. They're gonna call it, they got pain in the elbow when doing pull-ups. Why? Because all you do is pull-ups. And if that's the case, you guys gotta start doing isometric holds, which leads me to the number 5 thing that people make a mistake, not practicing isometric holds. Remember guys, 90-degree joint angles is where your body and the joint is at its optimal force production and optimal positioning for health. So remember, 90-degree angles meaning like this, right? So we could train neutral grip pulls in 90 degrees. You want to hold just like this. Remember, isometrics is key, guys, because isometrics is going to teach your body where it's supposed to be. You can do isometrics in full range of motion, but typically for joint health, whether it be in neutral grip, supinated grip, or pronated grip, all you guys want to do is hold it 90 degrees and then drop down, right? Building that 90-degree tension is putting the tendon, which is very important to strengthen, is putting the tendon and the joint in optimal position and range of motion for optimal force production. Because now remember, from here, you're the strongest. Everything's engaged the most. From here, you're the weakest. From here, you get no engagement because the muscle's fully shortened. Now look, same thing for pull-up grip, right? That was neutral grip, isometric holds. For pull-up grip, guys, you guys just want to pull head to the bar. Head to the bar is going to put you at a 90-degree angle. Ready? Look, guys, everything is at 90 degrees. And you want to hold these positions for time. That's going to build the strength and putting your joints again in the optimal positioning that they want to be to build strength and produce force. Same thing goes for chin-ups, guys. Here, hold 90 degrees. Once you go past that, you're just shortening and contracting the muscle more. Remember, an isometric hold is no movement of the joint or the muscle. It could be any positioning though. This is isometrics, not moving. This is still an isometric hold, dead hanging. This is still an isometric hold. Even though we move the joint to get to that positioning, we're holding in a set positioning for time. But being in that 90-degree hold, whether it's pronated, supinated, or even neutral, is going to put the joint in the healthiest position and set you up to build up awareness where your body should be for the pulling. So we have, the first mistake I see is the setup. People not putting their feet together, not squeezing their glutes. The second, hand positioning, having to reset up their hands. The third was, skipping half a repetition. Remember, skipping the bottom portion of the rep and only repping out. Then we have neglecting isometrics. Isometrics are key, guys. Well, the fourth one was not doing pronated and supinated grip pulls. Hit all angles of the movement. And then the fifth mistake I see people make is not doing the isometrics in all patterns of movement. So you want to do the isometrics in pronation grip. You want to do isometric holds in neutral grip. You want to do isometric holds in supinated grip, because that's where you're going to build up that tendon strength. And anytime you guys have joint pain, don't be afraid of it. Listen, if you guys have tendonitis pain, the worst thing you guys could do is continuously to do repetitions through the pain. But one of the best things you guys can do is to do isometric holds working through the pain, because repetitions are going to increase the inflammation. You're going to put more stress on the joint. One hold, isometric time, it's going to build, again, that intrinsic strength, and it's going to build stability in the joint. And that's why it's important to stay at that 90-degree angle, especially when you have the pain. Because once you have pain, 90 degrees is typically, again, like I said, the healthiest position to be in. So again, if you have pain, teaching the body to be strong in this 90-degree hold. Remember, intrinsic strength. Everything's flexed right now. I have nothing in. You always want to make sure you're gripping that bar tight. producing energy through your hands and the connection you have to that bar. That's how you're gonna build that tension. At the same time, everything has to always be engaged. I've said it since day one, every exercise is a full body engagement exercise for calisthenics because you have to always be in alignment. If you're not, your reps are gonna be sloppy and off. So those are the top 5 mistakes I see people making when working on their pull-ups. We'll run through them one more time. The setup, not being engaged before you get on that bar. And if you guys watch, we're gonna film another video talking about how beginners should start. And I'm gonna be showing you guys 2 excellent exercises that are gonna build up that body awareness that you guys should practice, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. It's just gonna benefit you overall of learning body awareness. The second mistake I see people make is having to reset up. Again, rushing the setup, jumping on that bar and not being engaged and having to reset their hands up. Third mistake, skipping the dead hang portion of the movement. You guys gotta get strong from that straight arm, dead hang position, learning how to retract the scapula and pull out of a fully active position. The fourth mistake is skipping chin-ups and pronated grip, chin-ups and neutral grip pulls. Again, you wanna strengthen the whole elbow joint in all patterns of movement. Remember, dips, you ain't gonna get many variations of dips, right? You get on a dip bar, no matter what you're doing, you're gonna be in a neutral grip position. Unless you're on a straight bar, that's gonna put you a little more into internally rotated motion. But remember, for pulls, you get to go chin up, neutral, or pronated. Think of yourself on the rings, guys. If you guys are using rings, you guys can hit all 3 planes of motion in 1 repetition. That's the beauty of the rings, right? Because the beauty of the rings, they let your body move where it wants to move comfortably. Remember, if you're on a pull-up bar, it's stagnant. You have to conform to the bar. If pronated grip is hard, no matter what, your body has to be in pronated. You can't twist that bar around. Supinated for the same thing. If you're on the rings, those rings give you fluidity. They will move the way your body wants to move. So here, tip number 6. Number 1 thing I see people neglect, not practicing ring pull-ups. Why? Because that's just gonna build a ton of stability and other pull strength. Remember, being on the rings is an unbalanced surface. They're not stagnant, they move. So besides just using the proper pulling muscles needed, you're gonna be waking up and activating more stabilizer muscles. So the more muscles you could actually activate in general for the pulling movements, whether it be pull-ups, pronated chin-ups, supinated, or neutral grip, which you can isolate on the rings. You can squeeze the rings and keep them from tilting. But just working through full range of motion on the rings, through that full range, hanging in pronation, coming up and pulling through supination in 1 repetition is gonna build full stability in the shoulder joint and gonna give you full benefit of all 3 patterns of motion in 1 repetition. So that's the 6th thing I see people neglecting, is practicing ring pull-ups. So get yourself a pair of rings and try them out. You guys are gonna see another ring video from me and George soon too. So those are the top 6 mistakes I see people making when trying to train for their pull-ups or doing pull-ups in general. Don't be that guy that says they do pull-ups and they look like shit. Make them clean, make everything look good. Don't post something, whether it be a handstand, a pull-up, a muscle-up, and say you can do something and it looks sloppy, right? Perfect it, get your form down right, and then say you can do the movement. Hope this helped you guys out. Hope this shows you things what to avoid and how to train smarter and harder at the same time. And like always, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment, I'll get back to you. Like the video, it always helps out the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already at BarNaturalPrez. I hope you already subscribed to George's channel, Good Money. And like always, guys, peace out.
All right, thanks a lot, Prez. More to come soon
Naturals.
from the Prez, man.